Hello there, it's Gabby here from Confidence After Cancer, and I hope this finds you well. In this week's podcast, I'm talking to a wonderful woman, somebody who's become a good friend of mine, Melanie O'Neill. We both met many years ago because we both became members of the club that nobody wants to be a member of. We were both diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer. But our journeys have been very, very different. So Melanie is an amazing woman. She's from Warrington in England, where she lives with her husband Carl and her daughters Lois and Darcy, and they are her reason for never giving up, the title of this podcast. She is a true stoic lady whose grit and determination just impresses everybody that she meets. She's a regular column writer for the Warrington Guardian, who have given her a title once of Woman of the Year. She's inspired many people with her very honest account of living with incurable cancer for many years. She was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer in May 2011 and has received treatment, many years of it, many rounds of chemotherapy. She's had her septin, many things, clinical trials, on and off until November 22, when she's been told she has no evidence of disease. But throughout her journey, she's remained determined to fight to stay alive through all the many ups and downs. There have been many dark moments when she feared that all the treatment options had been exhausted and that nothing more can be done for her. She also supplemented her conventional treatments with alternative therapies, and I know she's done several trips to places around the world in search of a cure. Mel's passion for many years has been makeup, it's what she was trained in, and now she's a Tropic ambassador, and she also works with a company offering makeup lessons and makeup help and advice for transgender people. And she works with a company called Be a Lady, and there's a link to that in the show notes. In this episode, we touch upon Mel's difficult journey that has led her to where she is today, a life that she loves, and we reflect on the lessons that she's learned, both about life, but more importantly with her relationship with herself. She's just a wonderful, warm-hearted person that I am very honoured to call my friend. So let's go over and meet Mel. So Mel, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I feel like I'm thriving at the minute.
Yeah, you look amazing, and I'm loving watching your vlogs every day on your makeup. I can tell in your face that you're absolutely just loving life at the minute. So tell us about your life now. What's it like?
It's a lot better and happier, and I'm more contented than I've ever been before. And because I've had 11 years with secondary cancer, 12 years with cancer in total, and I'm currently in remission, NED. I don't really know what the right term is, got that many terms, but it's not there anymore. And I really feel in my gut that it's gone and it's not going to come back, just because my whole mindset has changed. I just feel really content with everything, and I'm so grateful for everything. And I think cancer has taught me such a big life lesson in how to live my life. And I'm just enjoying every moment, and the small things in life that other people take for granted, I'm celebrating and enjoying everything. It sounds so cheesy, but I am just enjoying life at the minute. It's great.
Doesn't sound cheesy at all. And I know, some of the tough journey that you've been through. So, it's your time now. I think you've had your tough times, so you deserve some good times. And as I say, I've seen you doing your makeup, doing your vlogs. What else are you up to?
I'm involved with a company called Nice and Naughty, who I've got a spin-off called Be a Lady, where we transform people who would like to dress as a lady, so cross-dressers, transgender people. And so I'm involved in the makeup side of that, and I'm absolutely loving that. I think I just love, and I love doing my makeup for women as well, and facials, and I just love empowering those women. And recently I've started to post videos to tropics ladies, because I'm a tropics ambassador and I don't want anything for it. I don't get paid for doing this, but I do vlogs, and I think there's so many women out there that struggle with makeup. And now I'm able to reach more people with my vlogs and advice. And it's just such a nice feeling to feel like I'm giving back and that I'm empowering others in feeling good about themselves, because I know what it's like when you feel lost and you feel purposeless. So to be able to do that, I feel empowered by empowering others.
So it's like a privilege,
yes,
to help other people.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's all happened by accident, but I don't care. I'm embracing it. I embrace everything that falls in my lap. And I think the more nice things that's happening to me, and the more I'm living in my own bliss, the more things keep happening. It just keeps coming. And to me, that's the law of attraction, which I've always believed in, but never really thought about how it happens. But it's clearly happening to me now all the time. And I think that's just because I'm so happy and grateful for everything that comes my way.
Yeah, love that. Absolutely love that. And I'm like you, I follow lots of people who talk about the law of attraction. You know, I see them on Facebook posting stuff. And sometimes you think, oh, it's a bit cheesy and it's a bit woo-woo. But I feel it's absolutely right. I think if you're optimistic and you expect good things to be happening, we all have our ups and downs. But it makes you, to me, it makes you able to cope with the downs. We all have bad days. We all have things that don't go as expected.
Yeah.
But if you got that sunny outlook that, you know, more good things are coming and I'm grateful for what I've got while I'm ready for more, but I'm grateful for what I've got. I just love that. And it just shines out of you. And I think you're a living example of that to other people, you know, and it's great to see you sat there with a big smile on your face. It's lovely.
I love it. I'm just loving life at the minute. I'm loving, I mean, I know I was once always a people pleaser and I wanted to be a performer when I was young, and I was told, don't be silly, you can't do that. Well, after I was diagnosed, somebody told me how to vlog, and I thought that is my performing part of me coming out without the nerves, because it's just me talking into my phone. I've not got an audience, I've just got my face staring back at me. So I started doing that, and then from that it led to doing it when I was at Christie's and having my treatment, and I just kept it upbeat and positive, and then more followers. And then when I stopped going to Christie's as often, I thought, what have I got to vlog about now? And I thought, you know what, I'll vlog about makeup, because I was trained in makeup back in my 20s. And I thought, makeup's always got me through tough times to help me, give me confidence and make me feel better. So I started vlogging about makeup. And then I got loads of people asking me, what lipstick you're wearing? How do you do this? How do you do that? And that was just, I thought, oh my God, I feel like I'm needed again. And that like massively lifted my spirits. And so just being in that cycle of gratitude and being able to help people, and it was so uplifting to my spirit. And then the next thing, it was like, you're in remission. And it honestly, It just happened like that. And then from that, it led to becoming a tropics ambassador. And from that, I now do Be a Lady with my friend Trish. And it's just one thing after the other. And then now I'm doing facials and people are booking in left, right. Just when I think, oh, I'm not going to sell anything now, or I'm not going to do it, the phone rings or my phone bleeps, and like now I'm doing podcasts with you. It's just, it's all a bit surreal, but I'm loving it. I love everything that I do. And I'm just so grateful to be given these opportunities. When rewind 12 years ago, I was in a job that I didn't like, didn't want to do. I wasn't enjoying life at all. I thought everything was an effort. And now it feels like nothing is an effort. And like what you said to me the other day, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And that's honestly, hand on heart, how I feel at the moment.
That's amazing. It's and again, it's lovely to see you here with that big smile upon your face, because I remember talking to you, you know, back in the day when we first met and you was first, you know, going through your treatment, and I think you were in such a dark place, and you had come from this, well, there's nothing I can do, I'm in a family business, I can't do anything else, I've got no choices. And I think we all feel a bit like that when we've got a cancer diagnosis as well. You think, well, there's nothing I can do, especially like yourself, when the doctor says to you, well, I'm sorry, you've had all the treatment we can give you, the NHS has got to step back now and there's nothing else we can do. How did you go from that dark place to where you are now? How did you have the faith? You know, some people have faith in a religion, but I don't think you're religious. So what is it that kept you going now?
Do you know what? I really don't know. I just never gave up. I didn't believe that I was going to live. I didn't believe that I was going to die. It was very fearful a lot of the time. And people said, oh, you're so positive. And I thought, you didn't see me behind closed doors. So to anyone listening, it's so hard when you're consumed with fear to come out of that place. But I think, honestly, because I'd had cancer then for so long, I just got used to having cancer. Yeah. So I'd been, not that I'd been through all the fear and come out, I was still had that little devil on my shoulder all the time saying, oh, you might die, you might die. But the other side of me was like, I've just got to get on with life. The amount of times I I used to watch my kids in a dance show every Christmas, and every year I'm going to cry.
Oh, love. You okay?
Sorry.
Take your time. It's fine. Take your time.
Every year I'd cry my eyes out.
Oh, Mel, I didn't mean to upset you.
No, it's
and
fine. Just
we're going to go back to that
see
dark place just for a minute,
Yeah.
and then we're going to come back to today where we're
just thinking I'd never ever see them again.
Yeah.
These shows again. And every year I'll be there watching another one and crying again, thinking I'm not going to be here next year to see another one. And then next year I'd be there. It was just ongoing. And then it got to about, it's funny now, got to about the 8th year and I thought, do you know what? I'm not going to cry this year because I'm still here. And I think it was little moments like that that made me think, you know what? You've just got to get on with life because you're still here. You're still getting through. You're still seeing your kids dance. You're still seeing all these milestones that I feared I wouldn't. I still had cancer in tow, but I was learning to live with it. With cancer, I was learning to live. And from that, it went to just doing more things that I loved. I found things that I loved then because I wasn't constantly in fear. And I think that was the turning point, because then I was in remission, and the remission came after I started doing those things. So my huge belief is to live in your bliss, and it is so hard when you're in that fearful place. And I think the only way I came out of that fearful place was just the acknowledgement of I've had it 8 years, I'm still here, I'm still going, and I need to just move on and stop getting upset all the time. And that was mine. So for people that are only newly diagnosed, they will be in a fearful place, and I think it must be so hard to get out of it. But just, I hope I'm an example that you can do it.
Absolutely, you are. Yeah, shining example.
Yeah.
I can relate so much with what you said. I remember, for me, it was firework night.
Right.
And I remember we've got family who used to live next to a park where they did a massive firework display. And I think maybe the first year, remember I was there with my wig on thinking, better not get too close to the fire. And I was looking at this fireworks thinking, this is so beautiful and I might not be here next fireworks. And I was like in floods of tears over that. And it got upset. The next year, went back again. We had the lovely party. And then the next year, I thought, no, get a grip now. You're still here. Yeah. And if you keep thinking about what if, you know, none of us know how long we've got on this planet, you know, whether you've got a diagnosis or not. Very easy for me to say now that I'm cancer free. But I do think the fear and what you said, the alternative to fear, the gratitude and just living in your bliss. And I've heard this expression, you know, you can't live in fear and in gratitude at the same time.
Right.
Your brain can't cope with them both. And probably through the day, probably like me, you have a million thoughts. But if you can train your little mind to start, okay, just for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to think about how grateful I am. And that's why I think some people keep a gratitude diary, or they do affirmations, or there's all little tricks and tips that you can use to train that mind when it takes you down to that dark place. That's not going to say you're never going to have a dark thought again. There is stuff that you can do. And I think, again, you're a living example of, we've all got choices. You might think you're stuck. You might think there's nothing you can do, but you've always got a choice about how you feel and how you respond to that.
Definitely. And like, one thing, I've always known this, sometimes I've forgotten about it, but I know it, especially at the minute. I love music, and to put a song on that's your favourite song, I can't believe how it can lift your spirits. And next thing I'm dancing around the kitchen, and it's just, it's that happy feeling that music can create, you being really happy or really sad, you know, granted. But put on your best music or something that makes you smile. If it's watching a funny film or seeing your grandkids, just get in that bliss, get in that moment, and just feel happy and content. And I think that's the start of being more content and being more in your bliss. It's just finding that something that lifts your spirits when you're in that really dark place. Instead of staying in that dark place and being consumed by it, it's taking a step out of it. And what will make you take that step? And for me, it's definitely music that puts me in such a good mood.
That's an instant thing that people can do, and that's an instant tip. You know, if somebody's feeling down, just put on your favourite piece of music. And the other thing as well that can get you out of a bad state as well is moving. And whether you like exercise or not, if you put on some music and just have a little dance in your kitchen,
do that all the time.
Me too. Or in your bedroom when you're getting ready in the morning, just have a little dance to yourself. And it gets you out of that state. It moves you away from the state of being closed-minded, where you shut down at any possibilities and you're just living in that fear.
there's things that you can do to open it up. You can look at, inspirational people like yourself, Mel, that think, oh my goodness, she's had all those years of treatment. The doctors told her that there was nothing they could do. And look at her now, she's living her best life. And, anyone can tap into the things that you've done. And I love that, the things that you're talking about, focusing on the gratitude, focusing on your family, find those moments of bliss. And we can all find, even if you're going through a really tough time, and I know people are struggling financially in all sorts of ways at the minute, but you can still have 5 minutes of bliss.
Yeah, you can still find it. Just find what makes you tick, I think. Definitely. And just go with it.
Absolutely love that. So I know you talked before about how things, you didn't really have this big plan of how even your makeup. I know you remember you talking to me and saying, well, everyone knows how to do makeup. What do I know? But they don't, Mel. And that's why people have responded to you in the way that they have. And I think we all do that a bit. You take for granted the gifts that you've got.
Yeah.
Everybody's good at something. Everybody's interested in something. And again, if people are feeling stuck, think about what lights you up, like you when you talk about your makeup and the way it makes you feel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And a good point is to not compare yourself to other people, because the amount of people I compare myself to that I know who are makeup artists and they do it for television, I think, oh, well, I'm not as good as them. And I think, you know what, that's not important. It's your passion for what you do, that is what's important. And yeah, that's why you thrive. If you put your heart and soul into what makes you happy, and what you're good at and what you can do not compare yourself to anybody else.
Love that. I've heard an expression, comparison is a thief of joy.
Right.
And it's so true, isn't it? If you look at other people, there's only going to be somebody who's, better looking, better at whatever they're doing. But are those people happy? You don't know that. You just see what's on the outside, as we all do. We all put stuff on social media. I never put a picture of myself on social media when I'm looking my worst or when my house is a mess. It's always your best side. And that's it's not being false. It's just like, I just want to share my best bits. Yeah. So other people are sharing their best bits as well. You don't know what relationships you've got. You don't know what joy's in their heart or what aches they're carrying around with them. You really don't.
Yeah. I love the fact that I'm keeping it real, because it took me a long time to put myself on social media with no makeup on at all, because I look awful. And then to show them how you create a look and what confidence makeup can give you. And the more I've done it, the more sort of respect I've got, because I'm real and it's showing that, I did look awful before I had makeup on. And I mean, the other day I did a vlog and my doorbell went mid-vlog and I was like, oh, and then as I went to get the door, I stood on my hairdryer, my hairdryer started blowing, went down, and then I paused my vlog, came back up and thought, you know what, I'm not cutting that out. That's real life. I'm going to keep that in. And then I just started videoing it. I went, right, back, that was the postman. And I stood on my hairdryer and I just started and loads of people were commenting about it and now it made them laugh. And I didn't mean for it to make them laugh. I think that's why it was funny, because it wasn't purposely to make people laugh. It was just real.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what people like about me. But I'm real because there's no other way than to be myself. And I think one massive thing that I've learned as well from cancer is how to like myself, to love myself, because I didn't in the past. And when I used to blog and doing the vlogs, people used to write nice things, and I used to say, are they writing about me? And it was like, oh my God, they actually like me for me. And that's what was the turning point in me realizing I can do this. People do like me for who I am. I don't have to be anybody else. I don't have to speak better because I'm with somebody who's well-spoken, or dress differently because I'm with somebody that dressed smartly. I just want to be myself. And now I am fully 100% genuinely myself. And I think that is massive.
It is massive. I know you're getting emotional again, but I absolutely love what you just said. So much of it resonates with me, and I know it resonates with a lot of people, because going back to what you said about being a people pleaser, that was me. And at the root of it, it's took me a long time to work on this and understand I wanted to be a people pleaser because I wanted people to like me. I didn't want them to see all the dark bits of me. I didn't want them to see all my faults. I wanted them to think, oh, she's okay, she's nice. And I was so desperate for people to like me that it's almost like I was putting on an act.
Right.
And now, like you, I'm comfortable in my own skin. And I think, the people that like me will like me. The people that don't, well, they're not my people. That's life. Not everyone's going to like you, but people will absolutely love you when you're being real. They'll be inspired by you. And like you say, when you go on the camera with no makeup on, people think, oh, I can't look like Mel. Well, she's going to show you how you can, step by step by step. you can, you're not going to look exactly like you, but you can talk about the different things that they can do, whatever their issues are, whatever they want to make, enhance on themselves, what products they can use. And you've been doing this for years, and you so take it for granted that other people are still learning. I know so many people say, I'm scared to buy makeup, I never know what to get. I wish somebody would just come round and tell me what to get. Yeah, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I do. I have makeup lessons, and I just, even if you don't want a makeup lesson, I'm just vlogging all the time. There's loads of tips that I'm giving away all the time on how to do makeup yourself. So you could learn by watching a little video.
Yeah. Waffling on. No, I think it's fantastic. Now, I love your vlogs. I'm going to put links to all of your socials underneath this podcast.
Brilliant.
So people can watch what you do. They can listen to what you're saying as well. But for me, it's just so heartwarming. I've seen some of your dark times when you've been in those dark places, and I'm looking at you now, and you're just glowing.
I remember the time we met up for lunch or tea in the Trafford Centre, and I bawled my eyes out with fear, and you just didn't know what to say, and you was like, "Oh, Mel," and I said, "I'm gonna die, Gabby, I'm gonna die." I was so frightened. So to think this is why I get upset all the time, because I can't believe it myself. I can't believe where I've been and where I am now. Just a massive difference.
Yeah.
And I think, without sounding big-headed, I have actually created that all myself without even knowing.
You have.
Unknowingly created this happiness. And I feel really proud.
You should be proud, Mel, because you've got it through. Nobody's given it to you. You've made this yourself. And I know you've not had this grand plan. You've just put one step in front of the other, day by day. And again, that's a lesson for everybody. You're having a tough time, just try and have a good day today.
Yeah, and I never gave up. That's one thing I didn't do, was I never give up. I just thought, there's got to be something out there. Even when I was in my biggest fearful place, I'd always thought there'll be something, there's got to be something. That's why I tried so many alternative things. Nothing worked, mind you, but I tried so many different alternative things alongside my chemotherapy, and nothing worked. But I just kept researching and trying, and you know what? It was me that had the magic wand all the time.
Oh, that's like from the Wizard of Oz, isn't it? It's you, my dear. You had the power all along. I'm getting upset as well now. But that's, I think, again, the Wizard of Oz resonates with so many people on so many levels, because we go off searching for stuff, and it's inside of you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It's just finding it, isn't it? And having the confidence or the support around you, or the inspiration, or the belief that it is inside of you. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not. You don't have to go looking for somebody else to fix you, because there's nothing wrong with you.
No.
Yeah. Brilliant. So pleased to speak to you. You're making me emotional. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks very much, Gabby.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. I love Melanie. I hope you can tell that. I love talking to her. I love her passion for life and the way that she shares so freely all of the lessons that she's learned. She's not had an easy journey by any means, but she remains optimistic, she remains positive, and she remains committed to helping other people like I do, who maybe are further, behind us in their journey, maybe people who are struggling with day-to-day living. It could be with a cancer diagnosis, or it could be just with life in general, which so many people are finding so hard at the moment. And if you are, my love, we're here for you. I just wanted to reflect upon what Mel said in the podcast there. So many points that she made. The first one is about living in gratitude, and I talk about this a lot. And it might sound really cheesy and it might sound really woo-woo, but really your brain cannot cope with living in fear and living in gratitude at the same time. So if you are feeling fearful, a really good practice, a really good exercise that you can do for yourself is to think, right, for 5 minutes, I am going to, whatever is right for you, say my prayers, or I'm going to write in a gratitude journal, or I'm just going to write in a little notebook, or I'm just going to say to myself before I go to bed at night, what are the things that I am grateful for in my life? It can be simple little things. It can be the people that you love. It can be, I had a really great cup of coffee. I've really enjoyed a meal that I had today. I've seen a beautiful sunset. I've just enjoyed being, whatever it is you've enjoyed in that day, just being grateful for the opportunities that we have. We've called this episode Never, Never Give Up, and about stop living in fear. And Mel talks about how you can live in your bliss. Now, me and Melanie, we're not telling you we're happy 24/7. You know, our husbands will probably tell you that. We have our ups, we have our downs. But what we can do is, again, choose moments of bliss. It could be just putting some music on, put your favourite music on and have a little dance yourself. It could be put a meditation tape on. It could be, I love now audiobooks. You know, I look at a screen a lot, I work on computers a lot, and my eyes get tired at the end of the day. But I absolutely love putting my earphones in, listening to an audiobook on my phone. It takes me away from what's going on in my mind. If I'm worrying about something, it takes me away from that. And it does help me have more blissful moments in my life. And once you start doing that, you can build on it and make more and more blissful moments. The biggest lesson that Mel's learned, and the biggest lesson that I've learned, and I struggled with this for many, many years, is learning to love yourself. And for a lot of people, that is really difficult, a really difficult concept. For most people, even just learning to accept themselves, you know, warts and all, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. No matter how much personal development I do, I still make mistakes. I still trip up sometimes. I still say things sometimes I didn't intend to say, and that is part of life. But you can always work on the things. You were always learning, and that's what I want to do. Is I learn from my mistakes. I don't beat myself up anymore. I almost stay curious about, well, that was interesting. Why did I do that? Oh, well, somebody triggered me. Somebody pushed my buttons. I never say they made me do that, because nobody can make you do anything. We've all got, hopefully, you know, independence, free thought, free will. We all choose how we react to other people. So make some wise choices that serve you. But learning to love yourself is one of the biggest messages that I can give you. And I'm a big fan of Louise Hay. If you've read any of her books, she really can guide you. I know some people that are Louise Hay teachers, and they teach her work in workshops. And it is all about learning to love yourself. There's nothing arrogant. There's nothing big-headed about that. It's just learning to love yourself and know that you are a wonderful and warm person. I know you are. No matter what you've done, no matter what mistakes you've made, learning to love yourself, being happy with who you are, and realising that you are enough, my love. And that's all you need to know from this podcast. Never give up, and you are enough. And thank you so much for listening to my podcast. It means the world to me. If there's any topics that you'd like me to cover, if there's any speakers that you'd like me to speak to and get on the podcast, I'm willing to do that. Of course I am. I want to keep learning and growing. I started this podcast at the beginning of the year, and it's been a learning experience for me. I've loved doing it. I've learned. I'm hoping I'm getting better and better every one that I do. Certainly getting more confident and getting more enjoyment out of each one. But please let me know what you'd like me to cover in a podcast. If I can help you with anything, you know where to find me. Ping me a message. You can find me on my website, confidenceaftercancer.co.uk. I'd love to hear from you. I absolutely would love to hear from you. So please get in touch. And as always, have a wonderful week, whatever you're doing. Remember to stay safe, stay sane, keep smiling. Love you. Bye-bye.